Hello everybody and welcome to part 2 of the Inca Trailblazer. This is what happened so far. Oh, hang on. There's one thing I have to do. Ta-da! Can't tell the story without my Peruvian, not Peruvian hoodie. So, this is what happened so far.
A broken-hearted Julian flew to Peru in need of an adventure. Despite his aversion to people, he joined a trekking group to Machu Picchu via the infamous Inca Trail. While an almost fatal cycling accident could have broken his spirits, he proceeded onward with the sexy llamas, only to find accommodation where the toilet had no door. One hike through cocaine plantations and a shot of dead snake tequila later, he found himself at the stairs of the Inca Trail.
So, we'd reached the staircase to the Inca Trail. The Inca Trail was designed to connect different cities of the ancient civilizations. It was mostly used by very small, very fast messengers who would run from one city to the next to deliver very important messages. There's not a cat in hell chance that I can imagine anybody actually running along that path. The path is super duper narrow, probably a meter. That's one step. It goes along the mountain range. So on the one side you've got mountain wall, and on the other side, you've got a death drop.
It's raining.
Not that kind of death drop. Literally a drop to your death, because it just goes down hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of meters. If you fall down, you are gone. There we are with our huge backpacks, walking along this path. Again, I'm saying we. Everyone is with their backpacks, walking along the path. I, on the other hand, have just realized for the very first time ever that I have a tremendous fear of heights. I did not know this. Everyone is walking along very happily, getting this close to the edge to take photos. Fools, I say fools! I'm literally clamoring to the wall. It wasn't pretty. I'm not sure if you've ever had a panic attack. And now try having a panic attack and containing it to the best of your abilities, because you don't want to be that person. There was a guide once again behind me. Why do they always come to us? He kind of tried to calm me down, just take one step at a time, which was great. But I had this 15-kilometer trek in front of me. There was no turning back. So eventually I catch up with the group waiting for me and the guide, so the guide could explain to them what we were doing and where we were. We have a bit of a break. Everyone goes out on this cliff, takes really cool photos. There's a lot of space around me. There's no way I can fall down, but I'm holding on to a tree. So this really nice French guy comes up to me and he says, just keep it slow. Don't worry, we're not annoyed, we're not mad at you. We've all got our little things to deal with. That was really nice of him. And then he said, just make sure not to hold on too tight to the wall, because sometimes people by accident push themselves off. There goes my one safety net. But we carried on. Now, obviously, as you can tell, the Inca Trail isn't something that's super safe. So there has to be a certain level of maintenance. And one path was busy being checked for safety, so we couldn't take that one. And here's me going, thank God. Let's climb a mountain, let's run through a forest, let's swim through a river. I don't care, I just don't want to be on this trail anymore. So the guide says, we've actually got a shortcut. We're gonna reach our destination much earlier. This is totally fine for me. This has been enough adrenaline for today. I'm fine with that. But everyone knows that shortcuts are never a good idea. If you've ever watched a horror movie, a thriller, an adventure movie, even a rom-com, shortcuts are never a good idea, because this was our shortcut. That's the path we would have taken to the other side. It would have gone down into the valley and back up. Thank God that's not us. So he said, we are actually going to take a bridge. Oh, thank God, yes, I can do bridges. I love bridges. I dated a bridge. I was a bridge myself once. It was great. I know bridges. This sorry excuse for a bridge was the most horrific sight. A suspension bridge. 2 mountains, a suspension bridge, and like a 200-meter fall or something like that. Only 2 of us were allowed to be on that bridge at any given time because it was quite unstable. They'd laid out wooden planks across the bridge, 20 centimeters wide. So when I stepped onto a plank, I would have to balance myself. These wooden planks or boards were not connected to one another. they were spread out. Whenever you would balance on one, you'd have to look down to make sure to get the next one. Because guess what? Some of the planks were missing. So you'd have half a meter of nothing in between these planks. You were constantly confronted with the depth below you. So there we are, holding onto these ropes, making our way across the bridge. Again, I say we. Everyone else is like, oh, this is so cool, jumping from one to the next. So I was probably the 5th or 6th to go on. We were connected by a rope as well, so in case we'd fall, the rope would catch us. I made it to the middle of the bridge and I just froze. I was in complete shock, complete horror, and all that I could do was cry. Held onto the rope, couldn't move, tears running down my face, and everyone was so supportive. Go Julian, you can do it, don't worry, you're safe. However, every group has an asshole. Along the path, we met up with another group that was with the same company. And in that group, there was this Canadian Hanson brother on steroids. He was behind me and he had no time to waste. He had absolutely no patience for me. So he started shaking the bridge. Right, what an asshole. And then that idiot tries to overtake me. The guides are like, leave him alone, let him just finish. There's no rush. So step by step, I managed to get to the other side. I reached this tower, I climbed down the ladder, and I'm safe. So now this idiot behind me decides he has to show off. Unhooks himself from the rope, hooks himself to the actual bridge. There was absolutely no reason to do that. So his hook was supposed to go over the rope of the bridge. But what actually happened was that it didn't, and it kind of just missed going over. So he was literally hanging on for dear life. And so he realizes this, and then all of a sudden he starts shouting for help. Help me! Can someone help me? Why the hell is no one coming to help me? Because nobody likes you, that's why. But of course the only person who could help him was the next person to get off the bridge. So only once that guy came, he could help him up, and they both got down safely. And once this Canadian guy came down, he threw the biggest bitch tantrum you can imagine. I'm gonna sue you, I'm gonna sue you, I'm gonna sue all of you guys for not helping me. Okay. The guides had actually arranged for us to go to these natural springs. So we spent a couple of hours in these beautiful natural baths, perfect to calm down, relax, and reflect on the trauma of the day. The following day was much more relaxed, much calmer. We went on this beautiful hike through the Sacred Valley, along old railroad tracks. We all had an early good night's rest because the following morning we had to get up way before sunrise to make our way to Machu Picchu.
The sanctuary ruins of the ancient Inca city of Machu Picchu lie 2,430 meters above sea level in the middle of a tropical mountain forest. It is one of the greatest artistic, architectural and land use achievements anywhere, and the most significant tangible legacy of the Inca civilization. It was probably the most amazing urban creation of the Inca Empire at its height. Its giant walls, terraces and ramps seem as if they have been cut naturally in the continuous rock escarpments. The natural dramatic setting on the eastern slopes of the Andes encompasses the upper Amazon basin with its rich diversity of flora and fauna.
I remember it was pouring with rain. It was completely cloud covered, completely misty. Oh my goodness, we're not going to get to see any of this because visibility is 0%. Anyway, we made our way up to Machu Picchu, to the entrance gate. We all had our passport stamped, which was really cool. And of course, there were crowds of people. Funnily enough, the moment you entered the city, it felt like you were by yourself. That place is so big and they do perfect crowd control. There was no way of there being pushing and shoving or anything like that. Still, everything was misty and cloudy and wet, and you couldn't really get a good view of anything. So I just kind of made my way up and up and up and up that mountain, and I just had a white wall in front of me, just clouds. No one would believe that I was at Machu Picchu and that I walked here. But what happened next was so magical. A bit of the morning sun came through. The clouds just kind of filtered away and revealed the whole city of Machu Picchu in front of my eyes. It was breathtaking. And I was literally standing at that spot where all the great Machu Picchu pictures are being taken. And it felt like I was there by myself. It was so peaceful, it was so calm, it was so beautiful, so tranquil. And that was the moment I realized that it was all worth it. I mean, it probably would have been different had I not experienced the entire Inca Trail up to Machu Picchu. And it just felt like the perfect end. And I absolutely understand the magic about this place. There's such richness in these mountains. And to think that there was a civilization that constructed all of these buildings on this mountaintop, just left me in complete awe and humility. Added to that, thinking about these messengers that would travel between the cities back in the day, along that path in one day, it just puts things into perspective. Learning about myself that I'm terrified of heights was quite interesting for me. I'm a freelance artist. We are walking a tightrope every single day, trying to balance everything. A career, heavy insecurities, finances, survival, all of that. And even though I love that lifestyle because it lets me have the freedom to do these kind of things, I understood that what I did too much in my life was to look down. I always measured everything that I did by how far I could fall, completely ignoring the way up and measuring what I did by how far I could rise. So while heights still freak me out, they also taught me quite an important lesson about the way I live my life and the way I choose to travel nowadays. To me, it's not about safety. I feel like comfort needs to be earned. I have this passion for learning new skills and most of all, challenging myself to being open to other cultures, other histories, nature, and myself, funnily enough. There will always be bullies to push you. There will always be shaky moments where you feel like you have nowhere to go. There will always be a moment where you have to be true, honest, and vulnerable in front of people you don't know. That is a very important lesson that this trip taught me. I am no longer afraid of joining hiking groups or trekking groups. In fact, I prefer it. There's something so cool about being thrown into a mix of people, even if you don't see or speak to those people ever again. In that time, you were a family. And that is what I'm going to leave you with today. I'm really excited about my next story. So for now, I'm checking out. See you tomorrow.